Okay, so as Mike said, my name is Ginelle Lang, and for the last few years, I have been rethinking how we teach science, perform research, design office spaces. I am an architect, and I took a look at the attendee list and thought I should specify which kind of architect I am. But I work right here in Boston. I focus on higher ed and science and technology spaces. And this is what we're hearing from the users more and more often. I want more of this, I want more of that. Can the walls move? Can the lab benches move? Can we put more people in there? Can we design a space that we have no idea what we're going to put in next year? Which leads to a flexible space. Now, I've heard flexibility is just a buzzword, that it doesn't mean anything, but I think it's the right word because it can mean so much. It can mean an adaptable space, it can mean a multifunctional space, it can mean all of these things, and they all encourage innovation. This is a prototype lab, an undergraduate teaching lab at Harvard that was designed with about 8 departments, physics, engineering, biology, and chemistry involved, with movable walls, movable benches, movable writing surfaces. And now it houses the new Science of Cooking course, which wasn't even in existence when we were designing it, which is a proof of concept moment for me. But it's also multifunctional in addition to multidisciplinary because it can serve lectures and labs because it has such good sight lines. That was one of the key criteria. The sight lines, they said get the lab services out of the way, put them in trenches in the floor, and the benches can plug and play depending on what course needs to be in there. This is another prototype lab at Harvard. It's a teaching lab, but it's modeled on a research lab, and it is multidisciplinary but more collaborative where the disciplines can be in there at the same time. It's project-based. Students get 24/7 access, and like I said, it's modeled off of a lot of the research labs that we'll find today to train the students that way. The trends in research labs are movable tables. They can come right out of there. You can put big pieces of equipment in there. They can change and grow as the research changes and grows. But what if you don't have a program to start with? This space was designed for incubator labs for medical device startups at UMass Lowell. The tenants can come in. They can rent labs. They can rent workstations. And the office spaces and lab spaces can expand and contract as the startups expand and contract. Again, movable tables, movable shelves for whatever that space needs. A word of warning, one of the most difficult types of spaces to design is a flexible space that is truly functional for all of its intended uses. So here's a couple things to consider if you're about to embark on a flexible project. Storage. If you have a lot of uses and a lot of disciplines, you're going to really need to be creative about storage. So throw it right across your windows, around your windows, behind your writing surfaces. Energy efficiency. While the labs in this building at RPI themselves are very flexible, it was determined a more energy efficient layout was to get the office spaces out of the labs. So orange is labs, yellow is support, blue is office. Another approach, though, is to have a very modular mechanical system, which allowed, a system like this allowed Pfizer recently to have spaces that function as lab or office, and they could renovate lab space into underutilized office space very easily. Also at Pfizer, they've undertaken unassigned office spaces where they have they can fit more employees in with less desks, and they also have unassigned conference rooms, closed offices. So whatever task you need, you can then go into that space and use that, whether it's just lounging or video conferencing, or whether it's just putting your head down to work on a task individually by yourself, which is great for all the different personalities that are in these workspaces. Really helps them be their most innovative at every time. And students are learning to work this way now. The next generation, they work in teams, team-based classrooms like the Teal Classroom here at MIT, informal learning spaces that are popping up at campuses all over the country. it's really becoming a flexible world, and that's a key criteria that we're seeing in almost every project that we're looking at. So it's not just about moving parts around, it's about how can you make these spaces make us interact more and be more innovative. Thank you.
Thank you.